Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting into the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. And, well, the title alone is quite a statement, isn't it?
It really is. It's like an invitation, but also a challenge.
Exactly. It suggests this pretty radical shift in how you start your day
Yeah.
and the barrier to entry, just waking up earlier.
Right. And the core idea really is that by claiming that first hour, when it's quiet before the world wakes up, you can seriously boost your productivity, find more creativity, and focus on personal growth. It's about mastering those early hours.
Okay, but let's be honest. That 5 a.m. alarm,
Yeah.
that's a tough sell for a lot of people, myself included sometimes.
Definitely.
So in this deep dive, we want to really unpack Sharma's ideas. Is it actually worth it? Does this early start deliver? And we'll look at the why behind it, this idea of boosting creativity and focus.
And we'll explore his concept of the 4 interior empires, this framework for balanced growth.
Right. And then, crucially, the how. The practical steps for actually building a 5 a.m. routine that might stick.
Okay.
So let's jump in.
Okay, so starting with the why. Why should you even think about joining this metaphorical club? Sharma really hits on the problem of morning distractions. I mean, think about it. How often do you plan to have a focused morning?
And then the phone buzzes. Email alert, social media notification.
Exactly. You get pulled into reacting right away. Emails, news feeds.
And suddenly your best mental energy for the day is kind of gone before you've even tackled your own stuff. You're busy, sure, but on other people's agendas.
Precisely. And Sharma brings up something interesting neurologically, this idea of transient hypofrontality.
Okay, break that down a bit. Transient hypofrontality.
Well, basically, in those very early hours, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that does all the heavy analyzing, the criticizing, the worrying, it's less active. It hasn't fully booted up for the day's demands yet.
So less overthinking, less that internal editor judging every idea before it even forms.
That's the theory. It creates a state more conducive to flow, to creativity. Your ideas can emerge with less self-censorship.
Interesting. So for you listening, imagine that little voice of doubt being quieter when you sit down to brainstorm or tackle something new first thing.
Exactly. And Sharma gives examples like Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, using early hours for intense practice.
And John Grisham, the author, right? He famously wrote his early novels during those pre-dawn hours before his day job.
He did. It highlights that consistent, focused effort, even if it's just for an hour, adds up massively over time.
Sharma actually says early rising is a key factor for lots of great achievers. It's not just waking up, it's what you do with that quiet, focused time.
Right. And he talks about that 1% daily improvement idea. Small, consistent steps lead to huge results down the line.
Yeah, think about a skill you want. Just 20 dedicated minutes each morning. That compounds. You'd see real progress faster than you might think.
And that focus on small steps makes it feel less daunting, It's not about changing everything overnight. Sharma also connects this outward achievement to our inner world, what he calls personal mastery. He argues they're deeply linked.
So it's not just about the doing, it's also about the being.
Yeah.
Waking up early isn't the magic bullet on its own.
No, exactly. You need to cultivate that inner strength, that resilience. Which brings us neatly to his idea of the 4 interior empires.
Right, the 4 empires. I know mindset is one, but he goes broader than that. What are the 4?
Okay, so he lays them out as mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set. It's a holistic view.
Mindset, heart set, health set, soul set. Got it. Let's start with mindset. That's probably the most familiar one.
Yeah, mindset is essentially about your psychology, your beliefs about yourself, your capabilities, your potential. It's about your perspective.
So thinking optimistically, gratitude, reframing challenges, having that sort of can-do attitude.
Exactly that, how you see the world and your place in it. But crucially, he says mindset isn't enough on its own. You also need heart set.
Heart set. Okay, so that sounds like emotional well-being.
Precisely. It's your emotional life. Managing difficult emotions, cultivating positive feelings like empathy, compassion, expressing gratitude. Think about those times you feel, emotionally drained or reactive. That's your heart set needing attention.
That makes a lot of sense. You can tell yourself positive things all day, but if you're carrying around a lot of emotional baggage like unresolved anger or insecurity.
Yeah, it drags you down. So heart set involves acknowledging those feelings, processing them, and learning to release what doesn't serve you.
And how does he suggest we do that?
Things like meditation, journaling, spending time in nature, even therapy practices that help you understand and manage your emotional landscape.
Okay, mindset, heart set. What's next?
Health set. And this one's vital. Sharma makes a bold claim. Your physical energy, your vitality, is actually more important than just raw intelligence.
Wow, okay. More important than intelligence.
Well, think about it. You can be brilliant, but if you're constantly tired or unwell, how effectively can you really execute your ideas or sustain effort over the long haul?
True, you burn out. Your physical state impacts everything: focus, mood, resilience.
Absolutely. He directly links peak physical health to achieving big things over time. There's that quote. The secret to being legendary is focusing on longevity.
Focusing on longevity, I like that. It's about sustainable performance, not just short bursts.
Exactly. So health set is about prioritizing exercise, nutrition, sleep, the physical foundations.
Makes sense. And the last one, soul set.
Soul set, this one's a bit deeper. It's about connecting with, well, your spirit, your core values, your sense of purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing?
So moving beyond just the day-to-day tasks and connecting with something bigger.
Yes, finding meaning. Sharma suggests things like disconnecting from technology regularly, spending quiet time in nature, reflecting on your values.
And he also mentions that idea of your work becoming a ministry of mastery, right? Thinking about how what you do serves others or contributes positively.
Right. It's about purpose beyond just personal gain, tapping into that deeper why.
Mindset, heart set, health set, soul set. It's a really comprehensive framework for inner work.
It is. But knowing the framework is one thing, actually doing the 5 a.m. thing is another. How do we make it practical?
Yeah, because let's face it, changing your sleep schedule is hard. The book is upfront about that. It mentions that 66-day figure.
Right, about 66 days to form a new habit, a new neural pathway. So you have to expect it to feel unnatural, even difficult at first.
Totally. You'll want to hit snooze. You'll feel uncomfortable. Sharma basically says, yeah, that's normal. That's part of rewiring your brain. Stick with it.
And he gives a structure for that first hour, doesn't he? The 20-20-20 formula.
Yes, the 20-20-20. It breaks down that first hour, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. into 3 chunks. First 20 minutes, €5 every 5:20 a.m. is move. Get moving. Exercise that makes you sweat.
Why sweating specifically?
Well, the book explains it helps reduce cortisol, that stress hormone, and it boosts BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor.
Ah, BDNF. That's like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells, right? Helps with learning, memory repair.
Exactly. So intense movement first thing wakes up your body and literally primes your brain for focus and learning. Running, jumping jacks, a quick workout video, whatever gets your heart rate up.
Okay, so move for 20 minutes, then what?
Next, 5:20 to 5:40 a.m. is reflect. This is the quieter part. Time for journaling, meditation, planning your day, practicing gratitude.
So this is where you actively work on those inner empires, mindset, heart set, soul set.
Precisely. Calm the mind after the movement, gain clarity, set intentions. Meditation helps lower cortisol too, increases self-awareness. It's about tuning inwards.
Move, then reflect. Makes sense. What's the final 20 minutes?
The last block, 5:40 to 6:00, is grow. This is dedicated learning time. Review your goals, read a book, watch part of the documentary, take an online course module, something that expands your knowledge or skills.
Ah, feeding the brain after priming it with movement and reflection. Sharma links this to high achievers always being learners, right?
Exactly, that commitment to continuous learning. So move, reflect, grow. That's the 20-20-20 formula.
It's a clear structure, but, and this is a big, but the book addresses, none of this works if you're exhausted.
Oh, absolutely not. The foundation of a successful 5 a.m. start is actually a good night's sleep the night before. They're totally linked.
You can't cheat sleep consistently and expect to thrive at 5 a.m.
Nope. Sharma stresses this and even outlines a suggested evening routine to wind down effectively.
Okay, what does he recommend for the evening?
He suggests aiming for your last meal and, importantly, your last screen time between 7:00 and 8:00 p.m.
That digital detox, that's key. The blue light really messes with melatonin production.
It really does. Then from 8:00 to 9:00 p.m., quiet downtime, reading a real book, talking with family, meditation, a warm bath, activities that signal relax to your body and mind.
Unwinding intentionally.
Yes. And finally, 9:00, 10:00 p.m. is prep time. Lay out your clothes for the morning. Make sure your bedroom is cool, dark, tech-free.
Creating that ideal sleep environment.
Right, and maybe end with some gratitude reflection. The goal is to be winding down towards sleep around 10 p.m., making that 5 a.m. wake-up feel much more natural, or at least possible.
So it's a whole 24-hour cycle approach, really, not just the morning.
Definitely. And it extends beyond just the daily cycle, too. Sharma talks about balancing intense work with proper rest on a bigger scale.
Ah, yeah. He brings up that conversation with Usain Bolt, doesn't he?
He does. Bolt apparently said he rests about 50% of the time to make his intense training effective, which is kind of mind-blowing when you think about our usual always-on culture.
It really is. We glorify hustle, but Sharma argues that elite performance in any field requires what he calls the twin cycles.
The twin cycles, high performance, and what was the other one?
Deep recovery. You need both. Periods of intense focus and work actually deplete cognitive and physical resources. You have to replenish them.
Otherwise, you're just running on fumes. Performance eventually drops off.
Exactly. So Sharma advises scheduling real downtime, like at least 1 or maybe 2 days a week, completely free from work, and ideally, technology.
Wow, tech-free days. That sounds challenging, but probably incredibly restorative.
For sure. Time for solitude, nature, hobbies, deep connection with loved ones, journaling things that genuinely recharge you, not just distract you. It's active recovery.
That balance seems crucial for making the whole thing sustainable. Not just the 5 a.m. routine, but high performance in general.
Absolutely. So if we tie it all together, the 5 a.m. Club is essentially arguing for a very intentional start to the day.
Yeah, using those quiet, powerful early hours to focus on what matters most for your growth, both personally and professionally.
Leveraging that pre-dawn tranquility, working on those 4 inner empires. Mindset, heart set, health set, soul set.
Using that practical 20-20-20 structure for the first hour, making sure you get enough sleep the night before.
And building in real recovery time to balance out the periods of intense focus and effort.
It's a whole system.
It is. And the book wraps up with that great quote from J.M. Power. If you want to make your dreams come true, the first thing you have to do is wake up.
And Sharma adds, 5 a.m. is a perfect time to do just that.
A powerful call to action.
It really is. Which kind of leaves you, the listener, with a question to think about. If you were to dedicate those early hours consistently to one single really important goal, what could that be? And what kind of transformation might that focused daily effort unlock for you over time? Definitely something worth considering, maybe even setting an early alarm for. Thanks for diving deep with us today.